Hey y'all, real quick, if you like my content, make sure to like the video. Since I'm a new channel, liking the video will help me out with YouTube and its algorithms, so that way I can show up in searches and suggested playlists and all that fun stuff. Thanks guys! Hey guys, welcome back to Tobacco Leaf Legacies. I'm Cheryl. This video is kind of a compilation. As I said in my other intro video, a lot of times I have an idea of what I want to do for a video. I've got something particular going on or whatever that I want to share. And other times, as different little things are happening, I may grab the video camera because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. So this video is kind of a compilation video. I have got, in the beginning, we had some baby tobacco plants that were planted not on our property, but right across from our property. And so I talk a little bit about that. I do a little bit where I'm back in the pack house. The wood that we took off, where it was the two-tone wood that I showed you, the aged versus the new. I'm taking some of the nails out of that. But what was kind of fun about that, and I say this in the video too, is that, you know, Granddaddy was the last to put the nails in. And then, you know, here I was taking them out and, you know, call me silly, but I just think that was kind of cool. And I also tell a story. I have these jars that I've, you know, been saving some stuff in. You'll see. But I have kind of a fun story about one of the jars of nails. Yes, jars of nails. So make sure to keep watching for that. I also kind of have some sped up video where I'm sorting some scrap metal. It was just something, you know, in the process that I'm doing, and so I figured, okay, well, let's toss it in here and share it with everybody. I'm sure somebody else has had to go through that, where you've had a bunch of scrap metal and stuff to have to contend with. Thanks for watching, guys. Little bitty plants. Oh my goodness. Little bitty plants. Little bitty baby. And get past this dirt stuff. Little bitty baby tobacco plants. And I was watching the big, like, tractor, big tractors when they came in with them, and the plants were all on trays, I guess they were. And I was sitting at the table, they went by, and they came over here, they planted, they left, and I'm gonna tell you, it couldn't have been an hour. I mean, it was amazing how quickly that they came over here with the big tractors, the trays of the plants and all that, and got them out here and left. And I just couldn't help but think about Granddaddy. Like, wow, how long? And this is probably, I'd say over here is an acre and a half, you know, maybe two. And I just, you know, I was thinking about Granddaddy. It's like, wow, how long would that have taken him in the 40s to, well, first of all, did they plant seed? Oh, like, this is stuff I don't even know. Like, did they plant seed? Did they start the plants and then, you know, set them out like they did here? I'm assuming they'd started with seed. I mean, I really don't know. You know, these are things that, details, you know, that I would like to know. And, you know, so I was just thinking, how long would it have taken him? Would he have put out seed? Would he have started these little plants? That probably would have taken him days, you know, to do that. Even having maybe a couple people helping. And then what kind of equipment did he have? You know, I know he had a Farmall tractor. Maybe it was like a Super A or something like that. You know, what kind of attachments would he have had? And I get very into that. And then I started thinking, wow, what he would have thought had he seen the machine that came over here, and just how quickly, you know, that happened. It's interesting. I get caught up in that kind of stuff, you know, comparing and thinking and how was it back in the day. So next time I come up here in the summer, it'll be interesting to see how big that is. So I'm out here in the pack house. I'm a mess because I have been working all day. It is hot as Hades out here. Okay, maybe not Hades, but it's high 80s, and if you're working in the sun, that's hot as Hades. But anyway, I am back in the pack house right now, and I just thought I would record a little bit. Not sure where I may stick this in with the videos, but I just wanted to share a couple cool things. Let's see. Flip this around. Remember me showing you the boards. I am finally getting around to taking the nails out because they still have nails in them, and you don't really want to store wood with nails in it if you can help it. So I'm getting the nails out and then kind of writing, on top of them, which ends up and the numbers and everything, so that I can keep them in order, because that's kind of important. We took them off in order, and I want to keep them in order depending on what I end up doing with them. And it's just interesting because here I am taking these nails out that Granddaddy put in, and I don't know, there's just something about that I think is kind of cool. And me and my little brain, and I start thinking about it, and it's like, wow, I bet when Granddaddy was putting this nail in that I'm taking out, I bet he didn't think that his granddaughter would be in here pulling them out. And I think it's kind of neat that he's the last one that touched them, that did that when he put it up, and now I'm always sorry guys. And now I'm kind of coming behind him, and I'm the next one that's, taking them out, so I can keep the pieces. And yes, I will keep the nails because I'm just silly like that. I'm just silly like that. And it's okay. It's all right. Nobody else does this kind of thing. And if I'm the only person that does, I'm totally fine with that. Totally fine with that. And then here's something else. Let me flip this around again. I have these old jars, right? Some have, some you can like kind of tell something's on the lid. Some of them, just have like a little bit of label left. And you're probably asking, okay, is that sawdust? You have sawdust and nails and stuff in a jar? Well, as a matter of fact, I do. This jar of sawdust, that's what it is, sawdust, came from a radial arm saw in here that Dad had used. And this jar of kind of sawdust, it's a little bit finer. This was from when my friend was here, and we were cutting out some of the pieces, out of here. And I don't know, I just was like, you know what, let me brush that up and kind of put it here in a jar. And I'm going to take a little piece of masking tape and kind of put like right, real small, and then stick it underneath the jar just to kind of make what it is. And these are some more old nails that kind of came out, when he was pulling stuff out. And again, just silly like I'm gonna keep it. These nails I actually found upstairs in the pack house in a bag when I was going. I know Granddaddy bought them, and I don't know if he ever used them. Maybe a few, but I mean that could have been like some of the last stuff he bought when he was out here, working. And then this one, a bigger one, and you'll see there's a piece of paper here. I will, let's see, take this out. Flip this around, kind of show you here, bear with me a second. Okay, so as you can see, this has seen better days, right? It's probably really hard to see the date though. It's 43, and you'll see this Robertson Brothers. Well, I looked it up on Google because, I mean, that's what you do. And apparently the history of the little city here, this C.L. Robertson, he was a pretty important person. I think back in the early 1900s, kind of was one of the group, I think, if I'm remembering what I read correctly, that sort of incorporated everything and kind of came up with a government and all that. And he had a store, and it was a little town in the day. And he was like, I guess, kind of the main store, and he had hardware and some other things. And when I saw that receipt that had, you know, my grandfather's name on it and the date and all that, and in with the nails, and then when I looked up the history, see, this is where things get interesting. When you find old stuff, when you get something that's got a name on it or something like that, look it up. It isn't going to mean anything in the grand scheme of things until you connect the dots. When you connect the dots, it becomes way more fascinating to people like me, anyway. And so anyway, so when I looked that up and around the history, and initially I'm melting, y'all. The initial store that this guy had, there was a fire that went through the town. I mean, you know, that was common back in the day because, I mean, you didn't have a fire hydrant on every other corner. And in fact, the town didn't even have its own, like, water, I want to say water supply. I mean, people had wells and things like that, but they had to wait for, like, the official fire people from the bigger city to come and put it out. And so they lost, you know, a lot of the stores. They built back, and so, I mean, they continued on. But as I was reading this, and I was just like, oh my goodness. And so to just kind of run across these nails, you know, with that receipt, and then I start thinking about when my grandfather went and bought those, and gosh, they were still in the bag with the receipt. And so I thought, well, did he never even use them? Like, he bought them, and just over time they just kind of got shuffled upstairs and, you know, whatever. So like I said, when you're, you know, when you're going through old stuff like that, take some time, and especially now when we have got so much knowledge right here. I mean, right there. That we've never had the exposure to so much information as we do now. I mean, ever in the history of the world. So use it. Use it wisely. And so when you find things like that, if you're ever tasked with going through your family's things, and you're seeing names or places or whatever that make no sense, take a few minutes, search on Google, connect the dots. It creates a story, it creates a narrative, and that's really what it's all about.